Hello and welcome to my channel. I am the Yorkshire Melon and this is Planet Zoo. Today we dive back into the watermelon gardens. We've done a time-lapse video again. I'm finding that time-lapse videos are actually better whilst I've not got that much management to show. So I'm marking out where I want the path to the Arctic wolf enclosure to be, as that's what we're working on today. And you can see that I'm using the terrain to lower it down as I'm going for like a cliff border, so that the guests can look down the cliff side and so that the wolves can't actually escape. So I've got the outline of the enclosure done. Then I start to do the entranceway as the staff to get in. So obviously the staff are going to be above ground, so I have to do a tunnel through the cliffside. So place the path and set it to tunnel in so that it goes up. The pathing system can be quite fiddly sometimes. You can see trying to get it to go straight takes a bit of time. And I managed to get it going. I did originally start off trying to do it from the top down instead, but this way proved a bit easier. You can just see there where I'd done it from the top down and then deleted the footage because I didn't end up using it. And then I remove the railings from the sides going down, as I think it looks better. Flatten the terrain around the entranceway to get it level to go in. Even though that the path is set to flattened terrain, it doesn't like it if it's too bumpy, so you have to make sure it's level. And then I do a null barrier the whole way around so that the game knows that if the animals go past this point, they've escaped. Obviously they can't get past this point because of the terrain. So it means that instead of using like fences and things, we can just use the terrain. And then save a blueprint, or go as if I'm going to save a blueprint to then change the time so that it's brighter and easier to see. And I am filling in the gaps around the cliff edges with some boulders and stones to make it blend in a bit easier and so that the wolves can't get out. A bit of a spoiler alert, you'll not see at the end that I don't actually manage to get the wolves in. I'm not quite sure what the issue is at the minute. Still, I have to work out. This is why it's taken me so long to do this video, trying to figure out why my wolves won't go in. And I've still not managed to. The next thing I'm going to try is actually moving these boulders to see if there's an issue with that, although there shouldn't be, as I send a mechanic down and the mechanic can get through the gate, so a person carrying a box should be able to as well. And then we go on to replacing the staff buildings up at the top, ensuring that all the paths connected, as I had issues with that in one of my previous episodes. So all the paths are connected. The staff up here will just be for the Arctic wolves at the minute until we get some more enclosures in. I'm just making the terrain not as flat looking. I like it to look a bit more natural. So just raising it in places, and then decide to do a little lake or pond, I suppose, over at this part of the habitat, and I'm doing it as if the water is an underground tunnel flowing through from the reindeer. So placing a little tunnel and then putting some water in, and then I will be doing the waterfall feature or effect coming down, but you have to press play for that to work, so I've not actually placed them yet, but I will be doing at some point in the near future. And then remember that I've not placed a reindeer food tray, so I've placed that down now. And put in the water treatment centre to keep the water clean so they can drink from it. And then decided to do an underground viewing area. So I'm making a cave. I've just removed some of the null barriers so that I can work on it. Make a cave so that that's the hard shelter for the wolves to go sleep in and get away from the elements. But also the visitors are going to be able to walk down underground to a viewing area that I'm making. And the little hole that I made in the top to start with is to show how far back I want the cave to be around to avoid any negative impact on the water treatment centre. So I'm just making sure the terrain under here is about the same level, because when I'm putting the path in and the barriers up and things, it makes it a lot easier if you've got the terrain at a level. And then again, tunnelling up to go to the surface with the path system. Making sure I've not hit any negative impact. Those are the red circles that you can see. And then connecting the paths up. If a guest walks through the negative impact, the happiness just drops straight away, so you have to try avoid that way. And then just doing a path towards the cliffside so that they can have an overview as well of the wolves. I'm putting a path in so that once I get some other habitats in, there'll be a way out of this tunnel. At the minute it'll just go to a dead end. So just checking what grade the barrier needs to be to make sure I can put glass down, and then placing the glass barriers alongside the path, and then I raise them up so that it's from top to bottom, and then connecting the null barriers back up again. I was really happy with how this turned out. Just placing down the monitors, information boards and speakers. I'm placing some bedding down to encourage the wolves to come and sleep under here so you can get a good view. And just altering the terrain a little bit more. Putting a food tray down, and then I copy the woods from the reindeer habitat and place that down as well, as they all like a similar sort of flora and fauna. And also the coolers are copied as well, and the feed tray, which I've just deleted. They have different feed trays for the meat eaters and the herbivores. And then just getting the wolves in. Checking out the stats. You can have 2 to 8 wolves in one habitat, up to 8 males and up to 8 females, so just got a few varying different stats, and then decided to spend 330 conservation credits on a gold wolf. Place the staff down, and then I'm just remember to place toilets over near the reindeer enclosure and an ATM. You can charge for use of ATMs, but I just keep them free. You can also charge for use of the toilets as well. And then decide to give visitors incentive to come down to see the Arctic wolves. I thought I'd put some shops underground because they don't just like to see animals, they like to have a reason to go places. So if I put some shops down, so I think I've put food and a drink stall in, but then it's a bit faffy with the terrain and things. And also every time, even though I undo the shop rather than delete it, I still keep the staff, so I end up with quite a few staff members stood down here. So then I'm just moving the terrain backwards, trying to clear some more space for them to go, because the paths didn't want to connect. Can be a little bit temperamental. Yep, so then I deleted the path and then put the buildings down and then reconnected. Figured it still wouldn't moved the terrain back a bit more. So I've ended up with 5 members of staff for 2 buildings. Put the paths down and then realise that the barriers will be stopping the path. You can't put a path right next to a barrier. So moved the barriers out the way, connected all the paths. Decided I was going to do a little picnic area type thing as well for the people to sit down if they wanted to sit and look at the wolves. So done that and then moved the barriers back. So the barriers can be placed next to a path, but the paths can't be placed right next to a barrier. So got it all sorted in the end. Then moved the power away from where I had placed it, because I realised that it needs its own power source anyway. It's too far away from any other power source. Connected the paths up with staff paths so that visitors don't go wandering down there. Place some donation bins down and the picnic bench, and then some normal bins. And then I've not got many lights available at the minute because I've not done enough research yet, but I placed a couple of lights down for now just to make it a little bit brighter down here. I then decided to put some warthogs near the entranceway, because people were complaining that they weren't getting to the reindeers because they'd come and see the beetles, and then in people time, on the game time, it'd take them months to get to see the reindeers with nothing else in between, so they'd get bored and leave. So I've placed the warthogs here so that it gives them something to see. But I've got a big plan for like a safari area, so it's only a temporary sort of habitat for the warthogs at the minute. I want to do like a big plain with a few animals all in at once, and a funky entrance way. So this is just to put us on for now, and then I'll edit it out at a later date when I've got research done and some more monies. So yeah, just making sure it's big enough to fit a few warthogs in it, and then they breed quite fast, the warthogs, so it needs to be a fairly large area to cope with little piggies running about. Place the monitor down, and then I'm just placing the path running by the side of it. Again, you can't place the path next to a barrier, but you can move the barrier next to the path. It's a bit frustrating at times, but you can get around it. Some more monitors, some donation bins and speakers. And then get hard shelter and food down, some water, and then some bedding. And I'm just writing up that tree. I was going to leave it, but it was annoying me, so I've just stood it up straight. Now I'm getting plants in for the warthogs. You can't tell how much coverage they like until they actually get into the habitat, but you can just check like the biomes and where they're from to know which plants they'll be happy within. Some animals like a lot of coverage and some animals don't like any coverage. I think, if I remember rightly, the warthogs are okay with the coverage that I've given them. Just extend this path out a little bit more for people to come and view the wolves from up above. Place some more monitors down for them. And then the power, making sure that I've put a staff path down because I don't want the visitors walking up to it and then getting annoyed because there's staff buildings, as they class it. Put some benches down so they can see. Just move that little boulder back to my archway. Getting some coolers, more coolers into my Arctic wolf enclosure, making sure it's going to be cool enough for them. Make sure the reindeer's covered as well. Put some heaters in for the warthogs because they like it up to 40 degrees, and this is based on England, so don't often get that. And I give my staff the work zones, reduce any wages that are a bit too high for now. I'll put them up again once I've got enough money, and put everybody in work zones. I like to have one keeper per habitat, like normal sized habitats, but then like if there's more than one type of animal in a habitat, I'll have more than one keeper. Or if there's a habitat with quite a lot of animals in, I'll get more than one keeper. Like flamingos you can have over 200, so you definitely need more than one keeper. So then I'm just placing all the animals that I've bought into quarantine, setting all the visiting months for keepers to every month, vets to every 3 months, and maintenance to every 6 months. One of my Titan beetles died, so I had to get a replacement in. And then my Goliath beetles had babies, so then I had to check the stats out on them and get the extra sold. So then I'm just trying to place the wolves, and you'll see in a minute that this is where everything starts going wrong. So they place them on the path and they won't take them in. So I move the boulders around a little bit to see if that helps. Try again. They're still just taking them out of quarantine and placing them on the path. So then I get a maintenance man to go down, see if he can get through, and he can. So he's fixing the door, even though they've never been in. Trying again, still nothing. Think I'm going to place a bit of path, but then remember I've got no money left. So I place the warthogs in and see if I've got the same issue with the warthogs. But I haven't, they get placed fine. And then pick them all up, try again, the same happens again. So then I go and place them into the trade centre to see if I can move them from the trade centre. You can see the warthogs are in fine, just double check all the terrain needs and stuff. Change to short grass and put some soil down. So yep, not actually sure why my wolves won't go in the habitat. Therefore I'll finish on that cliffhanger. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.